All right, here's the first story. We got this from timcast.com. Biden wanted OPEC Plus cuts delayed until after the midterms, Saudi Arabia says. Biden now faces allegations of quid pro quo similar to alleged deal that was the basis for impeaching former President Donald Trump. This is from Hans Mank. He says this is extremely damning. In Trump's case, the quote victim of the quid pro quo, Zelensky, emphatically denied there was any suggestion of a quid pro quo. In Biden's case, the victim is formally accusing the U.S. of just that. Quick and simple gist of the story. Biden administration goes to Saudi Arabia and says, we know you're going to start cutting the production of oil. Wait 1 month. Just 1 month. That's conveniently just after the midterms. Saudi Arabia said, no, we're not going to do that. And we're not going to do it for economic reasons. Now, it was initially reported that they were siding with Russia. That's one way you can frame it. And I think the media jumped at that because it kind of absolves the Democrats of any kind of a responsibility, that it was really about just American interests and stopping the war. Now, we learned it was for 1 month. If the Democrats' goal was really to help the American people with lower gas prices and stop the war with Russia, to stop Russia being able to finance their war, they wouldn't have said, keep production up for 1 extra month. They would have said, do not cut your production. Do not let Russia do this. Instead, it was obvious. They wanted a political advantage, a quid pro quo. And when they didn't get it, what we see now are the Democrats threatening Saudi Arabia with pulling military aid and other support.
You know, if they really wanted to help, they would allow domestic energy exploration and production. They're not doing that. In the name of green energy, we're shipping in oil from Saudi Arabia, all in the name of fighting climate change, which is absolutely absurd. How many Yemenis children had to die for the U.S. petrodollar? And now we're at a situation where the Saudi empire is just slapping Joe Biden back and forth. And if you remember, just a couple weeks ago, Joe Biden had his landmark trip to Saudi Arabia, where he was going to turn on the faucet to oil. And after that trip, the Biden administration literally released a statement saying Saudi Arabia is on board. They're going to help us lower gas prices. Saudi Arabia came out and said, no, Joe's lying here. And now we're finding out, according to Saudi Arabia, which is absolutely just such a big bombshell when it comes to Saudi Arabia saying this on the world stage because of the petrodollar, because of Yemen, because of how connected the United States was, especially when it came to financing radical jihadists all throughout the Middle East with Saudi Arabia. You see the decoupling of Saudi Arabia and America. That to me is the biggest story here, which will have huge ramifications on the financial economy, not just with gas prices, but with the purchasing power of the US dollar.
So World War III, is that what's happening?
No, just incompetent, crazy leadership. And this is not the first time we had a Quid Pro Joe, which I think it should be changed to after this latest revelation. And Biden has a history of this. Yeah, he did this in 2015, especially when it came to the prosecutor in Ukraine looking into Burisma Oil and his son's connections to this. He bragged with the president of the Council on Foreign Relations about firing him while holding aid money hostage to that particular country. So again, this is nothing new. This is a Quid Pro Joe.
But this was done in such plain sight, other than the 1 month aspect of it. I mean, he went hat in hand over to Saudi Arabia very publicly. He denied that he was going hat in hand, that it was about oil. It was about the war effort, Russia. It was about the environment, climate change, all of these other things that he was going to go over there and fist bump with people he had said on the campaign trail he was going to make a pariah, that he was going to isolate because of their role in Jamal Khashoggi's death, a murder. And now, but their public reaction, even to when OPEC Plus cut the production, really felt like they felt double-crossed.
Yeah.
It wasn't, so much of this really happened. You could just watch television and see that this was unfolding. But the 1 month aspect of it is really what's most damning.
I say good. I am... Man, hearing that Joe Biden is reeling from this fills me with what's that Schadenfreude?
Yes.
Yeah, because Joe Biden has hampered U.S. energy production. Joe Biden said that he wants to get us off fossil fuels. He's bragged about it. He campaigned on it. Congratulations. You will now reap what you have sown. You wanted to shut down Keystone. You wanted to ban fracking. You wanted to deny permits for energy exploration in the United States. I get it. A lot of people are concerned about carbon and fossil fuels and all that stuff. Great. Now, those people who are angry can go look at the pump and ask themselves why it costs so much money. But hey, as long as they know they're making it more expensive for themselves, I got no problem with them advocating for something they believe in. The problem is these people are screaming. There's that viral video where this woman's like, it was $95 to fill up my tank. The religious right did this. No, you did it to yourself. You voted for Joe Biden, who bragged about doing it. And now, because of this, because he campaigned on what you wanted, he goes and he bends the knee to Saudi Arabia and he says, come on, man, please, we need gas. We don't produce it anymore because of me. And then they laugh and they say, nah, it's okay. We're going to work with Russia on this one. And then he pouts and he has a temper tantrum and says, and we're going to cut off aid from your country. And then the media dances around the fact that this is overt corruption on behalf of the president, who has done two things. He has hampered energy production in the U.S. for political gain, and then he begs Saudi Arabia to make concessions to the United States just so he can win the midterms. And when they don't do it, he and other Democrats threaten them. Talk about corrupt garbage.